Hi Flosstube, it's Jessie. Welcome to my channel, Bobo Jessie Stitches. And today is a Flosstube day. It's our August update, our September Flosstube for our August updates. Uh, yeah, that's what we do. Whether you're new or returning, welcome in. I hope that you're having a great time. Grab a drink, grab some stitching, and let's talk about some cross stitch. Um, so first of all, I'm going to say that I have my microphone a little bit closer. I did hear some feedback that my voice was a little too soft in the last video, so I've moved the microphone a little closer. But I'm also going to say, if you have been watching me, you may notice my voice sounds a little different. I have been a little sick, and so my voice is a little bit hoarse from all the coughing. Um, it's also for me to kind of segue into saying that the editing on this video may be a little more choppy than normal. I don't know how it's going to be because I don't know if and when I'm going to cough. I have been taking medicine. I do seem on the back end of that. So hopefully it won't be too bad, but just know if it gets a little choppy, it's probably because I'm taking out some coughs. Uh, yeah, this month has been a little tough in terms of the sickness part of things because like it was becoming like a running joke. It's like, oh, it's Friday at 10 o'clock, time to take your weekly COVID test, right? Because it's a cough, sore throats, it's similar symptoms to COVID, so you have to take the test. Be sure you don't go around doing things, right? And or at least wear your mask if you're on the back end of it. And uh, and so never tested positive, like early parts of the symptoms, later part of the symptoms. So I think it's just a summer ick. Summer ick. Anyways, all right. So how did I do in August? Not too bad, not too bad. I stitched for a total of 27 days. I put in 9,566 stitches into 9 projects. So I, not too bad. I'm gonna take that as a win, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta take things as a win. So, all right. I had 3 new starts. I had 2 finish. Well, actually, 1 finish, and that's it. We're gonna kind of go in. But first we're gonna take a little pause because I finally can show you some things. So past Jessie filmed a finish and a fully finish for a project that I did for a smalls exchange for Fandom Stitching Central. The leaders, the team leaders, did their own individual smalls exchange. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert that video here, so that way you can see what I did there. All right. Hi, future Jessie. How you doing? Hope everything's going okay. Hope August was spectacular. So, as promised, though, here is my finish that I wasn't able to share, but they have received it at this point in time. So, Fandom Stitching Central, there's a group of leaders. We have 5 teams, and of course our big admin leader. We did a little bit of a small exchange for amongst the leaders, and this is my exchange gift that I did for them, and so it was for Meredith, who her favorite fandom is Star Wars, and this year happens to be the anniversary for Return of the Jedi, and so I made it's a trap. The pattern itself is free from Forbidden Fiber Co., and so I went ahead and purchased the kit to support the free pattern, and so everything is called for by Forbidden Fiber Co. So various colors, and then it's Sandstorm, 32 count linen 2/2, and I finished it as a pillow, and I went ahead and cut it to the side here, where I stuffed it and put my label, so that way, Vader could get the top billing here. Okay, and because I had, you to buy fabric to make my little pillow, I ended up with quite a bit of extra fabric, and whether intentional or not, I thought, well, hey, for that to just go to waste, and so I made her also a project bag. So here's the project bag, and that's the lining on the inside. It's not matching or anything like that, but it's kind of blue dots. It gives an impression of stars, even though it's not really stars. And now it's all one color. I didn't do like a offsetting or anything like that. But I did follow along to Elizabeth Can Stitch, and she was doing a walkthrough of a different you're going to have to go to her site for, I think it was Craftsies or something like that, is where she learned how to make it. Her walkthrough was pretty solid. I recommend it. There's a couple of things that I don't even think there's anything that I would say differently in terms of following her instructions. There were things that I did that were a little bit of an issue. This is a directional fabric, so you just have to kind of remember that for the directional fabric that the length is the 14 inches is this way, and so you want to be mindful of that. And the length, the amount of fabric you have may not be enough if based on that. But so you always want to be sure that you are keeping in mind that you have directional fabric. So, but there you go. That's it. All right, back to you, future Jessie. Bye. Thanks, past Jessie. All right, so what did I do in August? All right, so first up is a new start, and I'm actually apparently going to be going in alphabetical order. So first up, I started the Anna Green Gables Sal by Stitching Book Club. This is Sapphire Mountain Crafts. Sapphire Mountain Crafts is the actual company, but it's Stitching Book Club. And this is part 1. Part 2 has been released, and so, but I did not have a chance to print that picture. And so I actually did quite a bit on this. I worked on this for 4 days, and I put in 1,514 stitches. And here it is. I am stitching this 2/2 with the called for DMC on 36 count Chime by Picture This Plus. It's linen. I'm not sure. Let's see if I get a little closer. If I should have done this on 36 count. It's called for on 28 count or 14 count Aida. But I didn't have anything in the kind of called for fabric color, which was kind of a yellow, except for this Chime. I love the color of the fabric, but I'm not sure if the stitching is coming out really great on this 36 count. But it's in it. I'm working on it, so we're gonna see how it goes. But yeah, but that's it. That's it. Anna Green Gables. I think I've mentioned this before on this video. But Anna Green Gables was one of the first books that I remember. Not the first book I read, but like one of the first books I remember reading as a child, where the character of Anne Shirley was so real to me, and it just made me sad that she was a fictional character. And I know there's a lot of people who say that she's inspired by Lucy herself and everything, but still, Anne herself is not a real person. It's not a biography, and so it's but it gave me a love for reading, and gave me a love for characters, and so when Stitching Book Club announced that it was going to be Anne, I was in no matter what. I was going to be doing it. So yeah, really excited about that. I'm going to try to keep up with it. But we'll see. I'm already behind, as you see. Always behind on the South, but that's okay. All right. The next up was Baba Yaga by Autumn Lan Stitchery. Here's what it'll look like when it is done. I worked on this for 2 days, and I put in 686 stitches. Oh, I didn't mention it. Well, Anne was a new start, so there's no before. But I will post probably over here, usually on the left side, my left side, the before picture of what it looked like the last time that you saw it. But here it is. So again, I put in 2 days on this, 686 stitches. I basically just work down towards the corner. I'm just getting towards the corner, and then I'll be moving back towards the center and up. And so, but there it is. I'm doing this 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count linen, Catacombs by BeStitchMe. Everything is called for. It was part of a box. Really excited about this. I probably expect to pick a lot of this up in October as we go into Stitchy. Anyways, all right. Okay, next up is Cinderella. I worked, this is Cinderella. This is by MCG Textiles. The artwork is by Thomas Kinkaid. The kit, it's all kitted. Kit is out of print and no longer available. And I worked on this for 3 days and I put in 1,004 stitches. But a good 100 of that was French knots. So here it is in the back, further back, so you can see the full picture. And then I'm going to go a little closer to show you what I worked on, which is I basically worked on continuing on the bottom here. So I've started to kind of fill in over here. So I've started to kind of do a little curve. But that's basically what I worked on. And then all of these knots right here is what I did. And that's about 100 of them in there. But yeah. I always have these plans that I'm going to try to finish this up this year. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what? That's why they're plans. They're meant to be broken. But every time I work on it, it's my nemesis. Like, it's my nemesis project. Like, I've been working on it forever. It's my oldest whip. It's difficult. Like, I don't stitch on it quickly in any way. Like, those 1,000 stitches, like, took me like 3 days solid to do. But I love it. Like, I think it's beautiful. Like, I think it's worth it. But it is a little bit of a nemesis stitching. I always say this, and just in case you're new to me, and so apologies for the repetitiveness for anyone who is not new to me, but I do recommend that if you do pick up a kit from it, that the amount of fractional stitching and the fractional back stitching and French knots and all that good stuff that makes it a beautiful pattern. I find it very difficult to do on the 18 count Aida that's provided in the kit. So I do recommend that you convert the fabric to either an even weave or a linen, probably an even weave because it's full coverage. That's what I would probably choose to do because it will make the fractional stitching a lot easier if you happen to be an even weave or linen stitcher. So that would be my general recommendation for it. But otherwise, it's not, what makes it difficult is those fractional stitching, as well as the specialty threads. There's opalescent thread, there's gold thread that is just such a pain to work with. It's not so much of the pattern, but it's enough of the pattern that it really does slow you down when you are working on it. So just something to kind of take into account. All right. Next up is a new start. Next up is a new start, which is Death Before Decaf by the Witchy Stitcher. I am participating in Stitchy for Witchy. And my husband picked this out. And so he says that if I finish this and get a little bitty frame for it, that he will put it in his office at work. He has actually officially gone back into office on a partial basis, on a hybrid basis. So he'll be driving in and out of the office. And so he told me he would do that, which I find kind of silly but fun. But you know what? That's okay. And we're not quite back in office. We do have we had a date for September 18th that got pushed back a little bit, but sometime in the next few weeks, we will be going back into the office on a hybrid basis as well. But this is where I got to. Again, a new start. I worked on this for 3 days and I put in 1,017 stitches into this. I am doing this on 14 count Aida Eek by Picture This Plus. I'm doing this 3/1. I'm doing this on the same fabric as the Redsco. And when I did the Redsco, I love the Redsco. I did this 2/1. But I feel like the coverage was not as good as I would like, depending on the color. Like, I felt like that orange looked really, really good, but the white, you can see the fabric kind of peeking through. The black, you could see the color peeking through. So I was like, you know what? For Death Before Decaf, I'm going to go ahead and do it 3/1 and see how I like it better. 3/1 for me is tough. I don't like stitching with 3 threads, but I do like the coverage a lot better. So I think it looks better overall. So recommendation, 14 count, use 3 threads. Okay, all right. Next up is Dr. Georgina Wyndham. So I mentioned this in my last video, but in August, I started getting allergy shots. And I'm not convinced that this coughing, this weekly kind of thing, is not related to the allergy shots. but they tell me it's not, but I'm not convinced. Anyways, but I need a new travel stitching piece, and so I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do Dr. Georgina Wyndham? When you get your allergy shots, for those of you who've never done allergy shots, I did not know this, but you have to sit around for like about 20-30 minutes, just in case you don't go into anaphylactic shock, right? Have an allergic reaction to the shots that you are getting. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to have a doctor theme? So I'm going out of order for the steampunk line that is by Forbidden Fiber Co. And I was like, would it be fun to do a doctor one? And first I thought I'm going to only take it to the doctor visits because to be kind of curious to see how far I can get just stitching on it when I'm just in the doctor's office. Here's the thing though, it's 20-30 minutes. It's not a lot of time. By the time you get your shot, she starts the clock, you sit back down, you start the stitching. It's not a whole lot. Not to say I don't get some in. I actually probably get about 20 to 40 stitches in, but I'm not going to get any real progress really. So I've officially converted Dr. Georgina to my full travel piece. So I'm going to be taking it to the games and anything I do where I'm traveling. But this is, oh, covered up my notes. I worked on this for 7 days. I put in 697 stitches. I did take it with me to a couple of shows and a couple of games. What I did in, this is effectively a new start, so there's no before. I put in like 7 stitches in July, but it's so effectively a new start for August. I finished all of the pink in August. What I've done so far in September is actually put in her glasses. I put that in last night. So, but that's where I got to, and I'm doing this on 32 count linen, Love Potion, 2/2, everything floss and fabric by Forbidden Fiber Co. These sheep are so cute. You know, I find them really cute. Such easy stitching, really, truly such easy stitching. And I have an idea to fully finish. I've been saving a couple of playlists on how to make soft books. So there's lots of tutorials out there on how to make soft books for babies, for baby books, right? And so I was like, well, surely one of those things can have something. So I found a whole line of tutorials to make soft books, but actually stiff soft books. We'll see. I've been thinking about whether or not I want to go ahead and try to fully finish one of them, but I don't know. Anyways, I gotta pause for a second. Hopefully you won't really notice the pause, but I'll be right back. I'm cooking brunch and the alarm just went off. You might have heard it. All right. Okay, so next up is The Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. It is finished. I have not printed the most recent, the final view, but all of this has been filled in and everything. So next time you see it, I'll have a full picture of what the final product will be look like. What this is a mystery stitch along, and I worked on this for 1 day, and I only put in 207 stitches, and so here it is. I am doing this 2/2 on 32 count Lugana Aloe from the Other Side by Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. And basically on this top side over here, I filled in more of that terrace. What is that terrace? Whatever, the roofy part of the glass house. All right. Very, very behind, clearly. I'm not even done with the part. I'm not even done with the frame. I'm not even done with the frame. But you'll get there. It will get there, right? Sometimes you work fast. Sometimes you work slow. All right. So next up, I had a new start, which was a flag ornament. I worked on that for 2 days, and I put in 901 stitches into it, and it was a new start and a new finish. I did that on 40 count linen weathered stone by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. I actually did these ornaments. I mentioned this in the last video. I made an eagle ornament, and then I made a flag ornament, and I did that for a service project I'm a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and our chapter was working with the local guild on a service project for the Fisher House, which provides temporary housing for veterans and their families when someone is going through a medical crisis and is hospitalized at the VA hospital here in Houston. And so so my chapter decorates houses every year for the holidays, and so we were doing these ornaments. I don't have anything to show you because I've already handed it off to the committee to start putting it together for the packages for the event. And so, but what I will do is I'm going to insert a picture of a little short, like it's a 45-second video. I'm going to add some sound to it. There's no audio to it, of showing you my fully finishes of my 2 ornaments for my eagle and for my flag, which is what I did in September. Okay. So I finished everything with Lady Dot Creates Trims, and the fabric was from Teresa Kogut's line, Liberty line, for Riley Fabrics. Okay, all right, just two more to show you. All right, so next up was Halloween Wreath by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This one I definitely had finished fever for, and I worked on this for 12 days. I put in 2,888 stitches into this in the month of August, and I put in 652 stitches on September 1st for a finish. Let me get this in the frame. There you are. So I did this on 32 count Lugana Silver Moon by Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. Oh, so fun. I love Frosted Pumpkin, one of my favorite stitchers or pattern designers, and had a lot of fun working on this. I will start Christmas wreath at some point in time, probably in December, maybe November, as I work towards completing everything. I do have an idea of how I plan on fully finishing this, which is with a frame, but I will not be doing a pillow. But they did release a little fabric to coordinate with this to finish the pillow. I'm going to get the fabric anyways in order to make a project bag out of it, I think. So, but yeah, there you go. That should have been the finale, right? Like I should have just pushed this off as my finale to show a finish. All right. Last but not least is Tree of Magic. I worked on this for 2 days. This is by Barbara Anna Designs. The kit is exclusive to Nitka Moscow. That is what it looks like when it'll be done. And I worked on this for 2 days, and I put in 652 stitches. And here it is. And basically, I worked on that bottom branch on the bottom left there, and working towards finishing up that branch. This is one of the projects I have a goal to finish in 2023, so it will get picked up again this soon. All right. That's it. That's all my stitching for the month. Pretty solid, I would say. Not a whole lot of things that I purchased. I don't remember if I showed this to you last time. I only got my fabrics of the month from Yummy Fiberlicious. I did get this is Dragon Tears. This is July's color. I don't remember if it had already arrived, so here it is. I'm just going to show it to you again. And if I had, well, it's beautiful. You can see it again. And then, of course, I received August's color of the month, which is Demas, the setting sun. Look at this beautiful, beautiful purple with tones of green in it. I love that. Really love that. I actually have an idea for it, but you're going to laugh when I tell you. So I'm not going to tell you until I actually make it clear, until I'm fully decided that's the path I'm going to go. So stay tuned. Tease for October. Maybe October. We'll see how I feel about it. All right. So plans for September. It's Sailor September, y'all. So every September, I kind of picked this up from other fandoms that there seemed to be an artist trend in September for artists to do fan art of Sailor Moon. And so I was like, I'm going to pick that up and incorporate Sailor September into my stitching. And so that is what I am going to do. And so if you like to participate, I am officially going to call it the Sailor September Sal, is the hashtag. So that way, if you want to follow along and you're participating, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and show you the projects. Pause, please. Okay. So yeah, so for Sailor September, I have two projects that I'm going to work on that are my focus pieces. So first up is going to be Lunar Princess Sal by Sleeping Luna Designs. And so this is where we are. Oops, is it the right way? Yeah. So this is where we are. Again, this is also a project that I have as a goal to try to finish in 2023. So this will be my primary focus for the month of September, pretty much stitching on it whenever and as I can. Probably will be what I'll focus on today, actually, on this Labor Day in the United States. And then, of course, I am also working on my Tilting Crafts Sailor Moon Squad artwork by Daniel Kordick. And this is where I am on that. And my goal for this is to finish Venus in 2023. And so that's where we are going into Sailor September. And then if I need to pick up a small or something like that, there are. And if you are interested in participating and you don't have a Sailor Moon-esque project to work on, well, my good friend Stitchy Wren has a Ko-Fi page where they have actually designed all of the anime Sailor Scouts, has little baby smalls. Go check out Wren's page and pick up one of their smalls for Sailor Moon and stitch one. If you are participating, let me know. If you're not participating, that's fine. If you're stitching on something completely different, let me know. I really would love to hear what people are doing and working on. Are you a fan? Are you like me in pins and needles trying to figure out when the last movie, the Sailor Moon Cosmos movies, are going to be released here in the United States? The DVD release has been announced in Japan in December, and I believe that's probably when it's going to coincide. I did find an article that said that it would be that Netflix does have the distribution rights, so shrug when it's going to come. So, but let's see. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. That's all I have in terms of my Stitchy content. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a Stitchy good time. But if those of you who are going to stay, I'm going to share my little funny story for August. So, lots of weird things happened in August with me. Like, being honest, like it was a weird month. But I'm going to share something that just happened. Even though it's really a September story, I'm going to share it. So Saturday night, we went to a football game. My husband is an alum of University of Houston, so we went to the season opener for the football game for the University of Houston against the University of Texas San Antonio team, and so it was fine. It was hot. It's hot in Texas right now, and so it was outdoors and all good stuff. Nothing about the game, but we ended up paying for parking on the other side of the campus because we just figured that was the easier way to do it. We didn't have to worry about the traffic, but we did have to take a shuttle from the stadium to the parking garage. Not a big deal. We were prepared to wait for that and everything like that. And so we were on the shuttle bus and we were on the second to last stop. So we're waiting. So there's just a handful of us sitting on the bus waiting. And we had this really lovely shuttle driver. And all of a sudden we hear the driver saying, no, wait, no, stop, don't run into my bus. Do you not see my bus? And then we felt it. We felt the boop. Now it's a bus. Whatever's hitting us is smaller than a bus. So, so it was just like a little boop. And then she goes, ah. And then the driver was like, don't do it again. Kid you not. Boop again. A second boop. And we're like, what is happening? And then, not even kidding, a third bang. So the first two were kind of boops. The third one was a bang. Like, you could actually hear the bang. We're like, what on earth happened? After that, we were like, okay, that's no longer a fender bender with no damage to the bus. There is definitely something happening. She's gonna have to stop. She's gonna have to take photos and etc. Take care of all of that. So as we were hopping off to get onto the other shuttle bus that was right in front of us, and they were picking us up so that we could continue through, we got off the bus. Well, if you these school buses, you know, because it's not like a it's not like a long distance travel bus, right? It's a school bus. And so these school buses have these grids in front of the car, in front of it to protect it. And so it was like a truck. I'm not sure what, but like, you know, Ford 150S kind of truck. And they had backed into the bus and hit that little grill that had been protecting the front of the bus. Here's the thing: we have no idea why they were backing in. There were two shuttle buses. There was one right in front of us, and then the one that we were on. So she was stopped in front of the other, like behind the other bus. Like, it wasn't like there was a lot of space. It wasn't like they were. So they had backed in, so here's the two buses, and they had backed into the bus to do what? We don't know. Were they sober? You know. But when we were walking by, their bumper of their truck had been torn off because it got stuck to the grill. So what we think happened was that the first time it bumped, and then they didn't realize they had bumped again, and then it got caught. And then what we heard was the banging noise was actually their bumper being ripped off. I don't know what the lesson of that story is, other than if you see a bus, don't back into it. But we were like, what? And then I tried really hard to give them all of my contact information so that way we could, if she did need a witness. But thankfully, they did have cameras, and they're going to be all protected on that. But that was like, we were like, what, you know? And of course she wasn't moving. Like, our bus was stopped, right? Like, it was like our bus driver had no, you know, no liability in this whatsoever, because they really were not moving. And the reason why we know that is because the driver brought attention to it, right? Like, the driver actually verbally said, don't hit my bus, and was like waving. I don't know if people can see behind them and stuff like that, but was literally waving. So everybody was brought to their attention, knowing that something was about to happen. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Anyways, all right. I don't know if I ever mentioned at the beginning of this video, but today is Labor Day in the US of A. And so it's a holiday for us. I am going to now go edit this video and enjoy a lazy holiday editing and stitching. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a stitchy good time, and I'll see you in a month. Take care. Bye.